Hello, faithful Age of Empires 2 watchers. This is Hado-sama AOE with yet another excellent 4v4 random map with FRNDZ guild members. This is a not a long one, but a action-packed one, and I've gotten requests to do a gameplay commentary on it. So without further ado, here it is. Team 1 is your favorite Delib playing as Aztecs, his favorite civilization. In pocket, we've got Durfek Berto as the Chinese. Second pocket is Super Hans playing as the always reliable Franks. And at the far flank, we have a Simple Art playing as the Mayans. For Team 2, we have BV playing as the Vietnamese, probably the favorite civ of KP Hershey. We've got Danvers 56 playing as the Lithuanians, always a solid civ. We've got Reproved Orca 395 as the Celts. And finally, Magic Claw as the Mongols. Of course, we've got all tier S civilizations other than Vietnamese, who I think are underrated if they're played well. I've started things off with, we are just approaching Feudal Age, I believe, the time when people are starting to click up. And we've got what appears to be a standard opening from Delib here, grabbing his single boar. There doesn't seem, oh, there are two boar. My mistake. Scouting out a little ahead with his adventurous Vils. He's about to run into a little buddy here. Is he laming? He is laming. Look at this. Well, this is gonna start this game off right. Already probably pissing the heck out of our red player here. First engagement, Scout v Villager. I would imagine that the Villager himself was on his way to lame Delib, so having failed that, also dies. What a shame. Delib gathering the heck out of this boar. Look at this. How many villagers we got? Got 12 villagers all hacking away at this guy. Well, there you have it. We've got a standard opening from Durfek. Probably a fast castle from the looks of things. He is at 28 villagers and three. A lot on gold. Wow, not a standard opening. We'll have to check back to see where he's going with that. Why do you need that much gold? Is the question of the day. For Super Hans, we've got a standard fast castle. Maybe one too many on the gold, but you can't fault him for that. And a Simple Art, standard opening as well. So we got a lot of fast castles coming out of people. Team walls starting to go down for both teams. We've got a Simple Art has already walled off the east side of the map, and his enemy, the Mongols, is doing the same, utilizing the topography to his advantage. See if we get any of that from our other colleagues here. No other team walling seems to be apparent, though Purple appears to be walling himself off from his allies. Sort of an anti-team wall. How strange. And yeah, both sides. We'll see if that pays off for him. Delib with the second lame. He has cleared out several pigs from our poor friend BV here. BV is going to have a bit of a rough start, but it seems to have found plenty of turkeys and hunting as well. I think I remember seeing him snag turkeys from Delib earlier, so there was a lot of aggressive lambing going on. BV throwing down a team wall as well, doing what a simple art did on the other side of the map. This will give him control over the engagement. He'll be able to move out when he wants to and resist attacks from others. Yellow, I guess Danvers, throwing down some awkward team walls here. Again, not really sure how walls like this prevent enemies from attacking. You probably want to wall up like these areas, kind of like what Durfek is doing. Durfek is pushing forward, claiming some territory. It's a good sign. Good sign for hopefully things to come. Let's take a look at his Fog of War. Maybe we should have put this up on the high ground, but I think he knows what he's doing. Yeah, we seem to have highest villager count is 31. Both teams seem to be hovering around that, with Super Hans lagging a little bit, but he's getting there. Military is very different. It does appear that Team 2 is pushing out more military units earlier on. Perhaps they're preparing for some sort of push. We see 6 scouts headed out from Danvers. Looks like he might be meeting up with BV for a combined push against Delib. Delib has started collecting some scouts here, though. Not sure how good scouts are against, well, scouts. Eagle Scouts versus Scouts. Well, I guess we'll find out. He is going to be pushed pretty hard shortly. Meanwhile, we've got what appears to be an archer push coming out of Durfek. Just being a little annoying with 3 archers and a scout. Probably testing to see how resilient Magic Claw is here. Meanwhile, Magic Claw has a scout rush going on against a simple art who seems to be countering well in hand, though his gold farmers appear to be idling. But a good time for him to hit, a good time for Durfek to hit his opponent while he's distracted out scouting elsewhere. Good timing on Durfek's switch to crossbowman. Seems to be putting a little pressure on. Oh, okay. Well, we've got reproved Orca coming with a counter. Probably going to clean this up. But does he know about what's going on up here? Looks like Durfek and a simple art have combined forces, maybe preparing for a forward base or maybe a castle drop. We'll have to see. Yep, here are the turkeys stolen from Delib. And it does appear that forces are amassing for imminent attack against Delib. 5 scout cavalry, 4, maybe 5 archers, and 5 men at arms, and he has not enough. This could be rough, despite his excellent start with collecting a lot of food. It does look like he's in for a tough time. Meanwhile, sure enough, yes, we do have a castle going down from a simple art. That gets the support of Durfek Durfek probably would want to throw down some forward production buildings to shorten his line of supply, but oh, yeah, he is indeed doing that. We have a scout rush from Reproved Orca. He has moved these scouts expertly from defending his ally to pressing an attack, taking out Super Hans's gold production, which is an excellent move. He is certainly a very decent ally there from his team. As expected, Delib just doesn't have the manpower to take this force down, and he's also getting hit. Not a coordinated push, but a delayed push by Danvers coming in with 5 scout cavalry. The Eagle Scouts may have been able to deal with one of these attacks, but there just isn't the numbers to push this off. I don't think that the Danvers and BV have the mass to take out the buildings, take out the town centers, but this is going to dramatically delay Delib as he's during this critical early time in the game. Look at this. We got the castle drop has succeeded. It has gone up right in the face of the Mongol player and took him immediately off berries, wiped out his scouts. This is a great push. We've got a siege workshop coming down for a simple art. But here's the hero Reproved Orca hitting him from behind, but dies immediately. So good job, Team 1, on throwing off that pressure. Meanwhile, Delib trying to get his economy back on track while continually being harassed and annoyed by what is left of the BV and Danvers push. Seem to have whittled things down to about 5 units, but I would imagine that they will be pushing out again as soon as they can get organized. Durfek is pushing out some siege, which is long overdue and needed, and I would imagine that a simple art is doing the same. He is not yet, but hopefully will be shortly. Super Hans seems to have pushed off his scout rush. You can see the remnants of what was once a fierce battle. He's got pikemen there prepared to thwart any future attempts. Magic Claw is pushing out Mangadai. Very low numbers. This is not really a threat at this point, but it will become increasingly more and more difficult to take these guys out as the numbers grow. So Durfek is making the decision to push in forward, take these guys out while they're still low in numbers, and I think that's the right call. Maybe get that battering ram in on that action, or press towards the castle. Again, at this point, I don't think either side has what it takes to knock each other out. Continuing harassment from our buddy BV, Vietnamese. Danvers throwing down a forward castle to continue the pressure on Delib. Delib seems to have stabilized. He's got some production buildings up. He's definitely got his villager production back up, but you can see the damage that this early pressure has already done. He's at 32 villagers, whereas most of the people without pressure are at the 60s, and Reproved Orca is even in the 70s of villagers. So this pressure has really put Delib behind, and now he's getting more pressure, this time with knights and long swordsmen. So he's going to be. It takes a incredibly talented player to take on 2 players of similar skill and numbers. So he is going to be very, very hard pressed to resist this attack. So basically, I think the thing he's looking to do is hang on as long as possible before evacuating. That way, it'll give his allies time to do what it takes to knock this out. It does look like Magic Claw has, with the assistance of Reproved Orca, has pushed back this initial push, taken out the siege rams that were, or the rams that were knocking on Magic Claw's front door. Reproved Orca is supporting Magic Claw with a few mangonels, and that's really what you need to counter the high numbers of units that will be coming out from two players. So on one flank you've got two against 2 game here, and on the other flank you've got 2 against 1. So good luck to Lib. Let's see if he can hang in there a little bit longer to give Durfek and Simple Art time to attack. A Simple Art cheeky move here with only a single villager, no, 2 villagers, throwing down yet another castle to take this guy off gold. That one gets immediately spotted, unlike the first one, and Mangonel starts going to work attacking this. He's going to be in range of the builders, so that's going to put a quick end to that effort. But it was a noble try, and the Team 1 was able to deny a castle as well. It does look like the Lib is about to get finished off here. He has been able to delay them a significant amount of time, but that has really come at the cost of him being able to put out military units and contribute to the allies. Again, he's hovering around 30 villagers, where he's been at for about 10 minutes. And he just hasn't had the ability to push out military units. Meanwhile, BV and Danvers have just been pumping out knights, pumping out longswordsmen, and now you've got siege in the mix, and that's all it takes. If you got two guys ganging up on one, it's just a matter of time. So we've got what appears to be SEAL Team 6 of Eagle Warriors that came in, denied a castle, and then took out nearly all the Mangudai. I wonder if they even took out some mangonels as well. Well, they're... I wish Age of Empires really showed the kill count for individual units, the way that other games like StarCraft 2 does. It would really show how individual units have really outdone your standard expectations. Durfek is finally walling off this area. I think he wants to make sure that there are no surprise raids coming in through the choke point. So this was long overdue, but a good move by him. It's also going to wall in some critical resources here that hopefully he'll take. Let's see where Delib has retreated to. He's got 2 town centers in the top corner and appears to have another migration down here. So he's going to be spending the next time rebuilding as quickly as possible. And Team 1 is quickly trying to deal with the concerns that come when your flank crumbles. So they're walling up. Durfek is probably going to have to prepare by throwing down some extra production units. You've got a Simple Art doing the same, throwing down some barracks, throwing down some walls. still continuing to get some great engagement here. Just a real grind of Team 1 throwing... oh, hello. Got somebody accidentally sending their trade route through the enemy camp. That's no good. But both teams just throwing units at each other, hoping for the best. Oh, and it looks like Team 2 has broken through already. And Durfek's timetable is going to be increased a little bit. He's thrown down a defensive castle here. This is going to distract him from the push on Magic Claw, which seems to have stalemated at this point with the rapid defensive measures thrown down by purple and orange. Yeah, we got 2 defensive castles now from Durfek, so it does look like they... well, I mean, it's too early to say. If this barracks goes down, there's going to be a lot of knights in his base. Looks like he has wisely garrisoned all of his villagers inside the castle, which is a smart move. And Simple Art is coming to help out, but there's still a lot of knights back here, and his eco is open, totally open. He's going to need to fill this gap before too long. You know, this is a great time to crank out a couple petards. They get bonus damage against these guys. If you don't have what it takes to knock out rams, petards are a great way to, because they obviously can't avoid them if they're coming right out of the castle, right into the side of a ram. But it does look like a Simple Art is going to help clean up this initial push, and having crossfire from 2 castles is going to definitely slow Team 2's advance. Team 1 down here is now into the Imperial Age. A Simple Art has started pushing out trebuchets, which is working down this wall of castles we've seen going down. This is probably the most heavily fortified part of the map. You just got units packed in here everywhere. Yeah, another moment to use petards, I guess. Maybe Durfek could send some of these rams down to counter these rams, but this castle is going to go down quick with 4 capped rams working on it. And really only a single plumed archer fighting them off. Well, c'est la vie castle, but at the same time, it looks like Orca's going to lose his castle and all these rams. But he's not getting any pressure, so I think he can quickly replace those. You know, for a pocket, I would think he would have more than 3 town centers at this point, but who am I to judge? Same for Danvers. What is he at? 2? Well, here's their weak point right here. A pocket on 2 TCs. Cool. Let's see how that... Oh, well, here's the 3rd, but it's 3 villagers. So, let's see how that works out for him. Again, we seem to have stalemated a little bit. Maybe actually Team 2 is pushing forward on the eastern flank. Super Hans is about to push out. You can see a lot of production. He is cranking out knights just in time because the push is coming. And is just as quickly shut down. So Ram's not really the way to go, but there's the Treb, 2 Trebs now that they have to worry about. So I think the Trebs more than anything is going to be a problem, and they are indeed quickly tearing down this castle. Meanwhile, Super Hans, with his Cavaliers now, 12 plus 2, is looking to do some damage. BV is headed south, probably to what he thinks is hitting this forward base, but maybe Super Hans is his exact wrong time to leave. Super Hans can probably hit this forward base and do a lot of damage, or maybe he's going deep into the eco. One or the other. Exchange of castles here. Castles have gone down on both sides. Trebs are working away, probably on each other before too long. But no progress made on getting inside the walls. It does look like a Simple Art has started a new forward base, 2 new forward bases. He has landed multiple locations. That's the cool thing about this map, that just has these water channels all throughout. So a Simple Art has landed in the backyard of BV, throwing down a castle, throwing down some barracks. He's already cranking out some elite Eagle Warriors. This is a huge problem for BV, who has all of his units forward deployed, and is actually coming to assist Orca. So he has thrown, BV has thrown his long swordsmen against halberdiers, and obviously long swordsmen aren't exactly what you need to counter halberdiers, but that will, these are trades that a Simple Art is happy to make, because every long swordsman that goes down is lost gold, and the rest is easily able to be replenished. Well, he is pushing out, has another castle going down, has a Treb working on BV. BV is going to be pretty hard up to stop this, but I think he should have the eco to sustain his push, especially if he pull. Yep, here we go. He's pulling back his army. They're giving up on the attack against Durfex, so I think that's probably a wise call from Team 2, pulling back, but he's going to run smack into Super Hans's clump of paladins, and I gotta say, long swordsmen are not going to do so hot against them. Heck, even pikemen, are not going to trade quite as well as they should against this group. So, meanwhile, on the original front, it does look like Durfek and a Simple Art have been, or are starting to get cleaned up a little bit, but they've left a number of buildings that need to be cleaned up if they're really going to push them out. And meanwhile, one of a Simple Art's landings has failed, but another one has succeeded tremendously. So I think relieving the pressure from Durfek, maybe losing the side that was already on its way out was worth essentially dividing the team, because between this landing, the first landing and the second landing, you now have a new front opened up in between the allies, and I don't think a Simple Art realizes this yet, but Danvers is really exposed, doesn't really have much of an eco, doesn't have much of a defense. His military is absent. I think he's got a few stables up here, but really not what you need to fight off an invasion. So really soft underbelly to Team 2 here that needs to be worked out. BV is indeed cranking out some two-handed swordsmen to counter, which is the exact counter to elite Eagle Warriors and pikemen. So I think he may be able to push this back. Um, the number of, you can see the population limit here is getting so high that we're starting to lose frames. Everybody's moving at like 3 frames a second. You can sort of see the AoE servers slowing down. Got these paladins, cavaliers gliding across. It's really too bad that we don't get better performance out of this game. For replays especially, it's tough to get good frame rates per second. Yet again, we've got Team 2's trade going right through enemy bases, which really does their job for them. And this amount of champions could probably take out a single castle, but attacking into the arrow fire of 2 castles and a town center is probably not a good way to take a win. Danvers, his only defense just collapsed. Single castle and a treb. He does have a good amount of cavaliers, but at this point in the game, that is cavaliers are a little bit outdated. You need paladins at this point, fully upgraded, and you need defensive buildings too. Continued grind here on the eastern front. Mongols are pushing out elite Mangudai in greater numbers, so it's going to become more and more hard to contend with. But Durfek is definitely pushing out the right counter units. Elite skirmishers will tank these guys all day long. Though they do seem to have some accuracy problems. I wonder if the Chinese not have thumb ring, or maybe Durfek hasn't researched it. Anyway, yeah, these trebs will hopefully be targeted down shortly. Super Hans jumping in on the action. Cavalier versus Paladin. Well, this is going to be a 14 plus 4 damage on these Frank Paladins with 192 hit points. These things are monsters. Certainly compared to Lithuanians' Cavaliers. Lithuanians, of course, have excellent paladins, but these are not paladins. And so Super Hans is going to trade pretty well. Unfortunately, there are quite a few halberdiers, so that will swing the tide of the battle. But Super Hans has more where that came from. Hopefully he doesn't throw them back into halberdiers. Boy, doesn't this look so funny? This is terrible animation once population gets up too high. Well, let's take a look at the population. We've got several players still with high population counts. On Team 2, you've got Magic Claw, Reproved Orca, but Danbirds and BV are taking significant hits, dropping down to less than 60 villagers, whereas Team 1 is all hovering around between 90 and 130 villagers. So this is really going to pay off in a few minutes when they just start outpacing them economically, matching them 2 for 1 on the unit front. A push from Magic Claw appears to be in the midst of being dealt with by a Simple Art. A Simple Art lands yet again and throws down another forward base, which appears to be aimed at messing with Reproved Orca. I think this is well timed. Reproved Orca has been pumping resources and units into the defense of their ally. He has really been the MVP of Team 2, coming when it's needed and raiding when he's not needed. So messing with him is really going to hurt Team 2's ability to to help out. At the same time, a simple art is really, I guess, finishing off Danvers. Danvers didn't really put up much of a fight. He doesn't really appear to have or to know really how to react to a landing. He has his buildings sort of spread out, but where are his villagers? I guess he has 55 of them. 20 of them are here. It looks like he already evacuated a lot of them down into exactly the area that a simple art is raiding. So things looking good for Team 1 at this point. He still has a few idle military that he could have been using. It's got a Treb just out there on its own, taking out a fishing port. Good on you, Danvers. Meanwhile, it looks like a simple art has cleaned up this area, but he's been walled off, so he'll probably have to shift his attack elsewhere. I think maybe here or here is a good option. Meanwhile, it looks like Durfek has given fresh energy to the eastern front. He's thrown down additional buildings, including a castle, and Super Hans with his ridiculous Frank Paladin seem to be supporting that effort. He's got a lot of them ready to raid as soon as Trebs punch a hole in the defenses here. A lot of idle stuff for Team 2. I would be maybe shifting that down here if they're planning to hit and link up with a simple art. I would be really worried about being further divided. As you can see, a simple art is squarely placed himself in between the two sides of the team. He's got multiple forward bases right in between the two allies. This is going to make it very, very difficult to defend. Team 1 can now hit a place with 2, 3, even 4 allies at once, and the best Team 2 can possibly do at this point is 2, and it does look like sort of Danvers is out of the picture. Well, he seems to be causing a little bit of trouble up here. Maybe I spoke too soon. Picking off, making some trades against halberdiers. Okay. Well, BV is certainly not dead. He has quickly expanded into this corner, pumped up his economy, and recovered from the earlier attack that a simple art launched on him. So I think BV is not out of the game yet, but Danvers is pretty much. I don't think he'll be able to replace these few Cavaliers once they're gone, these 3 Trebs once they're gone, because it is looking like, a simple art has grabbed all his relics, adding insult to injury, and is taking down his town center with a castle. Very shameful. I think the beating heart of what's keeping Team 2 in the game is this trade bonanza, but that's getting increasingly closer and closer to the front line fighting, especially with Durfek and Super Hans closing in, punching their way through the front gates, trebbing down this really well placed castle. You know, this is where it's all culminating to. So if I were Magic Claw, if I were Orca, I would be doing everything I possibly can to keep these guys up here, keep them away. Maybe launch an attack on this side. Oh yeah, I was going to say launch an attack on this side, and that seems to be just what Orca is doing. Forward place positioning, a couple trebs on the high grounds, smart plans, start taking out production buildings from behind. Great move by Orca. He is really a player who knows what he's doing. And Magic Claw is no slouch either. He's been playing a defensive game all game, but doing so in a way that has been trading pretty favorably. Looking at the KD ratio, he still has a positive KD ratio, even though he's been getting attacked by 2-3 players the entire game, which is tough to do. But the western flank is starting to crumble a little bit. BV is out here on his own, even though he still has a significant, sizable eco at 76 villagers. He has a very low military, 23. He needs to be cranking those guys out, but it does appear that his time is numbered. Simple Art is ready with Elite Eagle Warriors. I think this is the first time I've ever seen the Vietnamese go infantry the entire game. I think everybody expects Vietnamese to go archers, because that's what they're really, really good at. But here we are, and they're not doing that at all. In fact, I don't think I've seen anything besides a couple archers at the beginning of the game from him. So pressure continuing to come in well, I guess they actually cleaned up. Team 1 cleaned up Team 2's limited push, took out a number of production buildings here on the eastern flank. They are pushing in, making some headway, knocking down 2 castles, and inching closer and closer to that super, super important trade, that market. I think that Magic Claw is a little worried right now. He hasn't pulled his villagers out yet, but he's definitely repositioned many of them down here. But that was a long time ago. He's quickly running out of space. There really isn't anywhere else for him to expand to. Team 1 has really fought them to push them. You can see on the mini-map how dense the mini-map is at this point for the western side of Team 2. It's there's really not many more options left for them. We got one last huge push from Magic Claw, trying to overwhelm Delib with Hussar. Good thought, but I think we've got too many halberdiers here mixed in from a Simple Art. These Hussar, final charge of the Light Brigade. It does look like that will get cleaned up, and that's going to free up Delib to continue to push down Danvers' last military buildings. Danvers still with a few villagers here and there, but he is not really contributing to the overall effort at this point. Oh, and look at this. We've got Super Hans into the trade, and just as soon as he does that, there's the GG. White Claw is tapping out first, seeing that the trade has been taken out. So Super Hans and his ridiculous paladins make the final killing blow to what was an amazing game for both sides, especially Reproved Orca, BV, Magic Claw. They all fought a really good game, but were eventually overcome by a Simple Art, Super Hans, Durfek, and Delib. So GG, calls, folks resign. What a great game. Let's take a look at the numbers. Got some pretty slow castle times, all things considered, but other than Durfek, Super Hans, I think there was a lot of attacking happening early on in the feudal age, which tremendously slow people down. Delib, who was getting hit, 27 Castle Age. Magic Claw maybe got hit a little bit later, enabled him to get up to Castle Age before too long, but very respectable Imperial Ages given the Castle Age. People were trucking along pretty well. Super Hans, look at that. MVP of map explored, 80%. What a hero. And society, yeah. Orca with all the castles. Same with a simple art. Also grabbing all the relics as well, denying them from Danvers, the Lithuanian, who should have been grabbing those. Villager High, 147. My God, I'm surprised he had room for any military. Wow. Well, that was a lot of fun. If you enjoyed that video, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Subscribe if you like videos like this and want to see more. And stay tuned to Hadosama AOE if you want to see more FRNDZ Guild movies. Catch you later.
Another one.